Good day, everybody. Got some vital information for you if you use red light therapy or if you're thinking about using red light therapy. And it's the same for if you buy from me or you buy from another seller. Things that you need to understand about using light therapy. And I will say I highly recommend it because we are solar creatures. We are creatures that are designed to be in the sun, designed to be in the daylight, designed to be in natural light and not inside. And with the increased prevalence of various stages of lockdowns, this becomes more and more important because we are subjecting ourselves to more artificial light. We are depriving ourselves of natural light, sunlight, etc. And if you live in northern latitudes, it's cold winter, so chances are if you go outside, maybe it's just your face that's exposed to the light. Everything else is covered up. And then with masks, so the mask goes on here, and then if it's very cold, your hat. So it's basically just your eyes. And so we are depriving ourselves of light that is needed in order to function optimally. And I've said this in videos before. If we look at the medical model, it's sick, not sick. There is no extra bit here where we go sick, not sick, and we've got all this here. And by that I mean there's more to life than being not sick. There is an ability to thrive over just surviving. And light is one of those things that we need. Anyway, so what I wanted to talk to you about today is if you are thinking about red light or if you are already using red light, just a few things to bear in mind. And when people buy them from me, they buy a lamp or a panel from me, they will get a guidebook that explains all this. But I'm just going to go through a few things fairly quickly. And what I mean, what I think is important for people to understand is this very common 5 to 20 minutes could be useful in some aspects, but it could be also utterly useless if you're using it for 20 minutes from kind of 10 centimeters away, and all you're trying to do is improve your skin. Then you've already saturated it maybe after 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes. I don't know the strength of your bulb, strength of your lamp, etc. But you've got to understand that superficial issues, for the most part, now there are outliers of course, but a general rule of thumb is like 4 to 12 joules. 4 to 12 joules of energy, 4 to 15 joules of energy maybe. And then for deeper issues, 12 to 45, 12 to 60 joules. And there are research studies that have gone way past 60 joules, up into the hundreds, up into the, I think I was reading one about 1200 or 1600 joules. But they are over a very small area, and most people. And so I would never recommend that. In the guidebooks that I write, I tend to stick around. Okay, this is your guide, 4 to 12, and 12 to 45 or 60. But you've got to understand, if you do 35 joules and you're wanting both skin and deeper benefits, then the skin's going to be saturated very early on. And so you can separate out your sessions. You can say, okay, this session's going to be about skin, because if you look at the studies, most of them are done 2, 3, 4 times a week. And so if you're someone that does it every day, then you can alternate between what you are trying to obtain or what you are trying to help. And there's nothing wrong with that. The other thing you've got to think about is that light scatters. The further you are away from a light source, the more scattered the light, the less powerful the light is at penetrating. All you've got to do is pick up a torch, stand 2 meters away from a wall and shine the torch. The light has scattered. Now go and stand 10 centimeters away from the wall and shine the torch. It's much more concise, it's much more powerful in that one particular area. And the same exists on panels or lamps, etc. The further you are away, the more light scattering there is. but you've also got to understand that your skin reflects like a large portion of the light. Now, there are various studies that show different ranges of reflection on the human skin, also different ranges of absorption depending on skin type, depending on skin thickness, depending on skin type, skin color. And so there are a lot of variables, but it's those key points that you've got to understand, that light scatters, and also that your skin reflects some of it. And so I would always say to people, right, use the guide, let it help you and let it give you some guidance of where you want to be around. Now, always start at the bottom of that. And so maybe that's a 2-minute session for you. And then you can work your way up, because as with everything else, because I wouldn't say to you, right, okay, you probably could go up to 20 minutes on this, because for what you're looking at, you probably could go up to 20 minutes. I'm not going to tell you to start on 20 minutes. That's like me saying, right, okay, you want to go for a run? Let's get you out. You can go for a marathon tomorrow. Or you want to bench press? Okay, let's put you on 100 kilos straight away. You just don't do it. It's the same with light. Much like if you were to go out in the sun in the summer. You're not going to go out in the sun and cook yourself. For the first day you've got all your clothes off. You go out there and you allow yourself to get used to it. And so you always start at the lowest of that and work your way up. Because again, you're an individual. How you respond to the light might be different to how Terry or Jerry or Frida or Fanny works down the street. How any of them respond to the light. So that will be purely individual to you. But you've got to understand that your skin reflects some light scatters, and pick your poison, as it were. Pick your usage for your particular light session. Are you going superficial, therefore you might need less? Or are you going slightly deeper, and therefore you might need more, but you're going to sacrifice the superficial potential gains from it? But again, always start lower and work your way up until you find your optimum. Your optimum, where you feel best and you feel it does the best things for you. But the great thing is with red light is it helps so many people in so many different ways. Until you try it, you'll never know. But once you do try it, you won't go back. Because you'll start to understand that sick, not sick, there is a lot more past the not sick that you can start to feel better at, and you can start to actually improve things, and you can start to wake up and start to feel like you're functioning slightly more than if you say, for example, at the moment your 100% is not sick and sick is 0, or somewhere, and then down to 0, which is death. All right, but 100% at the moment is just sick. It's just not sick. Doesn't mean that you're functioning well. So what happens if I said, okay, you can be 110%? If you're normal now as 100% and you are inside a lot, you're not exposing your body to light, various wavelengths of light, your diet's not great, your sleep's not great, etc., because you're inside, therefore you're not getting the normal circadian patterns, then I will tell you that there is potential for you to get better than where you are. You can perform better than where you are. But just think about those things. When you're doing your red light session, you say, okay, the further I am away, the more scattering there is. And the more scattering there is, plus the normal amount of reflection, plus potentially even more reflection, means maybe I need to do a little bit more. So even though I've worked it out that this is how many joules it will be, I'm going to start there, and then maybe the next day I'll do a minute longer, or 30 seconds longer, which will maybe be an extra 3 or 4 joules. But because of the skin reflection, because of the light scattering, it's not actually 3 or 4 joules. and again, we come back to it. There are things that you've got to pay attention to in order for you to function at your best. Maybe this sounds complicated to you. Maybe you're thinking, what? Light scattering? Joules? What's he going on about? The further you are away from the light, the more light goes out to the sides, the more light goes in different angles. And the less energy you are shining into your body. Your skin reflects a lot of light. And if you shine the light too much, the cells on the outside get oversaturated, and so they might not get the most benefit from it. But you might be going for something deeper, in which case you need to shine longer in order for it to penetrate deeper. And also, don't be afraid to play around with the distances. I do that a lot. One time I might literally be standing about 10 centimeters away from the full body, which isn't full body then if you're standing 10 centimeters away. It's probably from about knee to shoulder. And then maybe I'll stand 50 centimeters away the next time, and then I'll get properly full body. But the great thing about red light therapy is that it helps in so many different ways, a lot of ways with which you won't even be thinking it can help. And you just start to feel better, you start to function better. And how you respond to it might be different to how your daughter or your dad or your cousin or your mum or your wife or your husband responds to it. They might respond to it in a completely different positive way for them. And again, remember, the sheer lack of side effects from red light therapy is amazing. So you get all that benefit without the normal side effects of pills and stuff like that. It's great stuff. Remember, you've got until Monday to order any bespoke. Remember, OptiBio panels are ordered through me once we've had a discussion about what it is you need and the best wavelengths of light for you. They can be ordered until Monday, and then there is a 3-week hiatus before the next batch of orders that go in. So if you want a bespoke panel, i.e. a panel designed just for you, with light wavelengths just for you, then please get in touch over the weekend and we'll get that sorted and get a panel to you as soon as possible. Have a great weekend. Get as much light